Chapter Answer.
When we were left alone, I asked Anastasia, "Why were you so happy about that eagle?"
A little one very much needs an eagle. Our child Vladimir.
So the child can play with it.
Yes. Only the play has tremendous meaning for his later knowledge and sensations.
I see. Although I didn't quite see what kind of play it could be with a bird, even if it was an eagle. But what were you doing by the cedar, praying or talking with someone? What happened with you and the cedar? And why did your great-grandfather speak so sternly to you?
Tell me, Vladimir, do you think there is something reasonable? Does reason exist in the invisible world, the cosmos, the universe? What do you think?
I think it does exist, even if scientists talk about it and mediums in the Bible.
And this something? Call it what is closest to you. We need this so we can have an identical definition. For instance, say, reason, intellect, being, forces of light, vacuum, absolute, rhythm, spirit, God.
Let's say God.
Fine. Now tell me, does God try to speak to man? What do you think? Not through a voice from the heavens, but through people and the Bible, to suggest how to be happier, for instance.
But God did not necessarily dictate the Bible.
Who do you think did?
It could have been people who wanted to devise a religion. They sat down and wrote it collectively.
You think it was that easy? People sat down, wrote a book, and came up with topics and laws? This book has lived on for more than a millennium and is the most widespread and widely read book to this day. In the last few centuries, many other books have been written, but very few can compare to this. What do you think this means?
I don't know. Ancient books have existed for many years, of course, but the majority of people still read contemporary literature, novels and all kinds of detective novels. Why is that?
Because you barely need to think when you read them. When you read the Bible, you have to think quickly and answer many questions for yourself. Then it becomes understandable. It opens up. If you wittingly treat it like mere dogma, then all you have to do is read and remember a few commandments. But any dogma imposed upon you from without rather than comprehended from within you precludes the possibility of a man-creator.
What questions do you have to answer when you read the Bible?
For a start, try to figure out why the Pharaoh wouldn't let the people of Israel leave Egypt.
What's there to think about? The people of Israel were in slavery in Egypt. Who wants to free his slaves? They worked and brought him revenues. The Bible says that the people of Israel had put a curse on the entire Egyptian land more than once. They had even destroyed firstborn children and animals. Subsequently, those kinds of sorcerers were burned on bonfires. But the Pharaoh would not just free them.
Answer another question. Where did the Hebrew slaves get enough goods and chattel and livestock to wander for 40 years? Where did they find weapons to capture and destroy cities in their path?
What do you mean where? God gave them everything.
You think only God?
Who else gave them those things?
Vladimir, man has complete freedom. He has the opportunity to make use of everything of the light that God originally gave, but he can also make use of other things. Man is a union of opposites. See, the nice sun is shining. This is God's creation. It is for everyone. For you and me, for the snake, grass and flower. But the bee takes honey from the flower and the spider poison. Each has its own purpose. No bee or spider would do otherwise. Only man. One man can rejoice in the sun's first rays, another curse them. Man can be both a bee and a spider.
You mean God did not do everything for the Hebrews? Then how can you determine what God does and what is ascribed to him?
When a man does something significant, the two opposites are always involved. Man exercises his right to choose. What else he takes depends on his purity and consciousness.
All right, let's say that's true. Do you mean when you were standing by the cedar you tried to talk to him?
Yes, I wanted him to answer.
And your great-grandfather didn't like that?
My great-grandfather believed that I spoke and demanded rather disrespectfully.
You really were demanding, I saw it. You stamped your foot and pleaded. What did you want?
I wanted to hear an answer.
What answer?
You see, Vladimir, God's essence is not in the flesh. He can't shout to everyone from the heavens, at the top of his lungs, how to live. But he wants everyone to be all right, which is why he sends his sons. Men who could penetrate to some degree to the reason and the soul. His sons go on to speak in different languages to other people, sometimes in words, sometimes with the help of music and paintings or in deeds of some kind. Sometimes people listen. Sometimes they drive them out and kill them, like Jesus Christ, for example, and God sends his sons again. But always only some of the people listen to them. Others don't grasp it, and they break the laws of happiness.
I see. Is this why God is going to punish humanity with planetary disaster and Judgment Day?
God doesn't punish anyone, and he doesn't need disasters. God is love, but this is how it was all planned from the beginning, created. When humanity reaches the point of failure to grasp the essence of the truth, when the dark principles manifested in man reach a critical point, to prevent total self-annihilation, a planetary disaster carries away many human lives and destroys the pernicious, artificially created system of life. The disaster is a lesson to those left alive. For a certain span of time after the disaster, humanity lives in a terrible hell, but it is a hell of their own making. It is those left alive who land in hell. Then their children lived for a time as in the primary sources and reach a point that could be called heaven. Then there are deviations again, and it all starts over. And so it goes for billions of years in earthly calculation.
If everything has been repeated so inevitably for billions of years, what did you want?
I want to know how. And with the help of something short of a disaster. I could make people see sense. You see? I've calculated that disasters occur not only through the fault of those who do not grasp the truth, but also from an insufficiently effective means for delivering it. So I asked him to find that method, to reveal it to me or someone else. It doesn't matter who. What matters is that we have it and it works.
What did he tell you? What is his voice like?
No one can say what his voice is like. It's as though his answer is born in the form of your sudden discovery of your own thought. After all, he can speak only through his particle, which is in each person, and this particle transmits information to everything else in man through the rhythm of vibrations. That's why one gets the impression that man alone does everything himself, because man himself really can do a lot. Man is like God after all. Each person has that tiny particle which God breathed into him at birth. He has given half of himself to humanity, but the forces of darkness do everything they can to block its effects and distract man from contact with it, and, through it, with God. It is easier to struggle with a small particle when it is alone, especially when it has no connection to the basic force. When these particles unite and aspire to the light, it is much harder for the dark forces to win and block them. But if just one particle living in just one person has full contact with God, then the dark forces cannot conquer that person, his spirit, his reason.
You mean you called on him for the answer born in you as to what to tell people and how to avert a planetary disaster?
Yes, more or less.
And what answer was born in you? What words must you speak?
Words. Words alone pronounced in the usual way are simply not enough. So many have been said already. Nonetheless, humanity as a whole continues to move into the abyss. Haven't you heard words about how smoking is bad, and drinking alcohol is bad? All kinds of people say this all the time, including your doctors, in the language most comprehensible to you, but you persist in doing it. You persist, despite your deteriorating well-being. Even pain does not keep you from these and other pernicious habits. God tells you, don't do that. He tells you through pain, this isn't even your pain, it's his. Yet you keep taking painkillers and doing what you please. You don't want to think about why you hurt. Humanity knows all the other truths as well, but it doesn't observe them. The truths are betrayed for fleeting, illusory pleasure. That means some other way must be found that allows us not only to know, but also to feel other pleasures. The person who knows them can compare and will understand everything himself. He'll unblock his own God-given particle. You shouldn't just frighten man with disaster or blame those who don't grasp the truth. Everyone bearing this particle, this truth, must understand the need to search for a more perfect means of interpretation. My great-grandfather agreed with me.
But that's not what he said.
There was a lot my great-grandfather said that you didn't hear.
If you understand each other without words, then why did you speak the words I did hear?
Don't you find it insulting to hear people in your presence speaking a foreign language you don't understand when they also know yours?
I thought it over. Either I believe everything she says or I don't. She herself believes it, of course. She doesn't simply believe, she acts. Maybe I can try to cool her ardor somehow, or she's going to knock herself out. So I said to her, "You know, Anastasia, I think maybe you shouldn't knock yourself out like this. Demand as intensely as you did by the cedar. A bluish illumination or fumes even fell on you from the cedar. Your grandfathers had good reason to be upset. This has to be dangerous. If God did not give any of his sons an answer that explains everything to people most effectively, that means the answer doesn't exist. Planetary disaster may very well turn out to be the most effective means of explanation, or else he will take offense and punish you to stop you from butting in, as your grandfather says."
He is good. He does not punish.
"But he doesn't tell you anything either. Maybe he doesn't want to listen to you, and you're wasting your energy."
He listens and answers.
"What does he answer? Do you know something now?"
He suggested where I could find the answer, where to search for it.
"He suggested to you? Where?"
In the union of opposites.
"How's that?"
Here, for example, the merger of two opposites of human thought into a new dynamic unity in the commentary of the Avatamsaka resulted in the philosophy of Huayun and Kegon, embodying the greatest perfection of worldview elements and parallels to models and theories, as in your modern physics.
"What?
Oh, excuse me, please, what am I doing? I let myself get lazy.
What are you apologizing for?"
Forgive me for saying words you don't use in your own speech.
"That's it exactly. I don't. They're incomprehensible."
I'll try not to do that anymore. Please don't be angry with me.
"I'm not. Just explain in normal words where and how you'll search for this answer."
Alone, I won't be able to find it at all. It can only be seen through the joint efforts of the particles and different people with opposite thinking. Only through our joint efforts will it appear in the invisible dimension where thoughts reside. This dimension might also be called the dimension of the forces of light. It is located between the material world in which man lives and God. I will see it, and so will many others. Afterward, it will be easier to achieve universal consciousness and to carry humanity across the dark forces span of time so that the disasters will not reoccur.
But more concretely, what should people do now to make it appear?
It would be good if lots of people woke up at an agreed time. For instance, if people woke up at 6 in the morning and thought about something good, it doesn't matter what specifically. What matters is that the thoughts be thoughts of light. You could think about your children, about those you love, and also about how to make things good for everyone. Think like that for just 15 minutes. The more people do this, the faster the answer will appear. Time zones on Earth are different because of its rotation, but the images created by the light thoughts of these people will merge into a single, bright and saturated image of consciousness. The simultaneity of the thinking about the forces of light intensifies each person's ability many times over.
"Oh, Anastasia, you're so naive. Who's going to agree to get up at 6 in the morning in order to think for 15 minutes? People get up at that early hour if they have a job, for example, or they need to catch a plane for a business trip. Each person will say, 'Let others do the thinking and I'll sleep in.' You'll have trouble finding helpers."
Couldn't you help me, Vladimir?
"Me? I don't get up that early unless I have to. And if I do somehow, what good would I think about?"
Well, the little son I'm going to bear, for instance, your son. How good he will feel when the sun's rays caress him, the pure and beautiful flowers are near him, and the fluffy squirrels play with him in the glade. Think about how good it would be if all children were caressed by the sun and no one ever upset them. Then think about who you're going to say something nice to and smile at that day. How good it would be if this beautiful world lasted forever, and what you specifically, need to do to make that happen.
"I will think about my son and I'll try to think of something else good. But what's the point? You're here in the forest thinking, and I'm in a city apartment. There are only 2 of us. You say it takes a lot of people. But until there are a lot more, why should we make this pointless effort?"
Even 1 is more than none. 2 together is more than 2. Later, when you write the book, people will appear. I will sense that and rejoice in each one. We will learn to sense one another, to understand and help one another through the dimension of the forces of light.
Everything you say still requires faith. I don't completely believe in this dimension of light where ideas reside. It cannot be proved because it cannot be touched.
But your scientists have concluded that thought is material.
Yes, but this still doesn't make sense to me since it can't be touched.
But when you write the book, you will be able to touch it and hold it in your hands, like materialized thought.
Again about the book, I told you I don't believe in it, especially in the fact that With the help of combinations of letters known to you alone, we'll be able to call up feelings in readers. Feelings of light that will help them comprehend something about this.
I've told you how I'll do this.
Yes, you did, but I still can't believe it. If I do try to write it, I'm not going to tell everything right away. People will laugh. And you know, but I'll tell you honestly, Anastasia.
Tell me honestly.
Just don't be hurt, all right?
I won't.
I have to verify everything you've told me with our scientist and compare it with what different religions and modern teachings have to say about this. Right now, we have a lot of different educational courses and theories.
Verify it, of course. You should.
Also, I can sense that you are a good person. Your philosophy is interesting and unusual. But if I compare your action with the actions of others, those who are concerned about the soul and ecology, then you appear the most backward of them all.
Why is that?
Judge for yourself. All the enlightened people, as you call them, have gone into seclusion. Buddha went into the forest for 7 years, secluded himself, and created an entire teaching. He has many followers in the world. Christ took to the desert alone for 40 days, and now his teaching is admired. Teaching.
Jesus Christ secluded himself several times, and he thought deeply when he was walking.
All right, say it's more than 40 days. Say it's as much as a year. The elders who are now considered saints were ordinary people. Then they went into the forest as hermits for a while. On those sites, monasteries arose, and they came to have followers, right?
Yes, that is right.
But you've been living in the forest for 26 years, and you don't have a single follower. You haven't come up with any teaching. You asked me to write a book. You're grasping at it like a straw. You dream of putting your signs and combinations in it. Well, if it hasn't worked out for you as it did for others, maybe that means there's no need to try. Maybe others more capable will think of something and without you. Let's live in a simpler way, closer to reality. I'll help you adapt to our life. You aren't hurt?
No.
Then I'll tell you the whole truth, all of it, so you can understand yourself.
Tell me.
You have unusual abilities, that's without a doubt, and you can obtain any information as easy as 2 times 2. But now tell me when this ray of yours appeared.
As with all people, it was given to me at the very start. Only my great-grandfather taught me to understand I had it and make use of it when I was nearly 6.
So that means since you were 6, you have been capable of seeing what was going on in our life, right? To analyze and help, even heal at a distance?
Yes, I have.
And tell me what you did for the next 20 years.
I've been telling and showing you. I worked with my summer people, as you called them. I tried to help them.
All these 20 years, day in and day out?
Yes, sometimes even at night if I wasn't terribly tired.
All this time you've been working hard with your summer people like a crazy fanatic? Who forced you to do that?
No one could force me. I have done it myself. That is, ever since my great-grandfather suggested it to me and I realized that this was good and very important.
I think your great-grandfather suggested that you work with the summer people because he felt sorry for you. After all, you grew up without parents. So he gave you the easiest and simplest assignment. Now he sees you've come to understand something more and has let you work on something else and abandon them.
But that something else is connected with the summer people, and I'll keep working with them. I love them very much and would never abandon them.
We call that fanaticism. You lack something a normal person has. You must understand. Summer people are far from the main thing in our lives. They have no influence on social processes. Dachas and gardens are just small farms. The people go there to relax after their main work or when they retire. That's all. Do you understand? That's all. And if you, with such tremendous knowledge and abilities, are working with summer people, that means there is something psychologically deviant about you. I think you should see a psychotherapist. If this deviance can be cured, then you may truly prove useful to society.
I want very much to be useful to society.
Then let's go. I'll take you to a psychotherapist at a good private clinic. You yourself say there could be a planetary disaster. Then you could help ecological societies and science.
Being where I am now will make me more useful.
Fine. Then you'll return and take up a more serious matter.
What kind of more serious matter?
You'll decide for yourself. I think something connected with averting ecological disaster, for example, or some other planetary disaster. By the way, when do you think it will happen?
There are already local hotspots at several points on Earth. Humanity has long been readying more than enough of everything for its own destruction.
But when will it be global? When will the disaster come to pass?
This might happen in roughly 2002. But it could be averted or postponed, as it was in 1992.
You mean it might have happened in 1992?
Yes, but they postponed it.
Who are they? Who postponed it?
Disaster on a planetary scale of 1992 was averted thanks to the summer people. All over the world, many different people are fending off the Earth's disaster. The disaster of 1992 did not come about, thanks primarily to the summer people of Russia.
And you? That means you. At age 6, you understood their significance, you foresaw it, you acted diligently, you helped them.
I knew the significance of the summer people, Vladimir.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of Ringing Cedars of Russia, Book 2 of the Ringing Cedars series, Summer People Day and Whole Earth Holiday.